Hello, Wildcats, and welcome to this session all about how to get involved with student organizations at Northwestern. My name is Joe Lattal, and I'm part of the Student Organizations and Activities team as part of Student Affairs. And let me be the first to welcome you to Northwestern to learn more about this topic. So a little bit about where to get started. There are around 400 undergraduate registered student organizations at Northwestern in a variety of categories: academic and pre-professional, faith and spiritual, competitive sports, performing arts. The list goes on and on. Wildcat Connection is your connection to navigating all of the groups who are active. What's great about Wildcat Connection is even though we run the organization fairs at the start of each quarter, Wildcat Connection has contact info for students in each organization, and more groups are recruiting year-round. So whether you're ready to get involved on the first day of classes in fall 2021, or it's not a priority for you, you want to take care of academics and other obligations first, Wildcat Connection is where you can find information about all the opportunities, as well as how to get in touch and join an organization. Most of our student organizations are very active on Instagram. Some are also active on Facebook, particularly when they're promoting events, and some use Twitter and other platforms too. But 82% of groups are open to any student who wishes to join without any sort of interest form, application, audition. So there's always opportunities to get involved. You see our handles for social media at the bottom of the screen. We invite you to follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. Not only are we sharing information from our office, but we're often relaying what's going on in the registered student org community. This is the breakdown of organizations by categories, and this changes each year. We invite students to start their own organization each quarter, and most organizations are growing, and our total number of organizations seems to grow each year. Some organizations might have single-digit members and a very loose structure for leadership, and there are other organizations that have hundreds of active members and everything in between. A common question we get is, how much time would I be expected to be an active member of an organization? Some groups just have periodic meetings to plan events, and other students are highly involved with their organization. For example, the week of Dance Marathon or the week of Dillo Day, the Mayfest committee is very busy leading up to those activities. But for the most part, a lot of students get involved in a registered student organization or a fraternity or a sorority chapter or residence-based leadership in a res hall or residential college. And it isn't a major strain in addition to your academics at Northwestern. And it's a very enriching part of the experience. Most organizations are also completely free to join. But for those where if it's an activity where you're expected to purchase your own gear, or a competitive sport where maybe you need to purchase your own uniform, there is an opportunity called the Student Activities Assistance Fund. Students can provide a budget of any personal expenses they have related to a fraternity, sorority, or registered student organization. And depending on their level of financial need, they can be reimbursed for these expenses up to $600. This also covers things like travel for a conference or a competition or other student org sponsored event. It also covers any sort of conference or competition fees if there's an opportunity to participate in something like that. There's more information on this if you search SAAF Northwestern. There's an exciting opportunity coming up both for admitted students and current students to connect with those who are active in the student organization community. We are hosting a 100% virtual organization fair, and it's the evening of the first day of classes of spring quarter, March 30, from 7 to 9 p.m. And so to close this session, I am actually going to do a brief demo and preview of how to navigate that fair. The reason is it's on a platform that hopefully you'll become very familiar with as you navigate getting involved in student organizations. but it's also the only way I can show you how to navigate the fair itself. So if you search Wildcat Connection on a search engine, it's usually the first result that comes up. And this is my Wildcat Connection home screen. You'll likely need to log in with a NetID and password when you have that and set up your user profile with your Northwestern email account. Once you've done that, on the home screen, you'll see tabs for upcoming events, student organizations, and news. The most common area you'll explore is organizations, and this is an A to Z directory of registered student organizations, fraternity chapters, sorority chapters, competitive sports teams, as well as a few other pages. You can search for organizations by keyword or the name of the org to narrow this list down. And we've also updated filters for categories. So if you are only interested in all of the opportunities through student organizations to dance, you can look at an A to Z listing of all of the groups that are dance focused. Now, when the virtual fair is live, there will be an alert on the homepage of Wildcat Connection, and you'll receive information about how to access the fair through undergraduate admissions too. But I'm sharing an example of what the fair looks like from last fall. We have a link to a virtual help desk, which will enter you into a Zoom meeting, and you can meet folks like us and other SOA staff. You'll be able to ask us questions about whether there's maybe an org specifically for the APITA student population, or whether there's an org focused on journalism and media. Or we can just help you navigate the fair if you're having any difficulty. Aside from that, the main page of the fair features all of the orgs that are listed, and each organization will have a link to go to their Wildcat Connection page, a message that they've drafted to tell you a little bit about themselves, a request to join button, which will send the officers of that organization a notification that someone's interested in joining their roster. Organization officers have been instructed to reply to those either by welcoming you to the roster or sending you an email with more information. The last thing you'll see with each organization is a Meet Online button. This is a Google Hangout or a Zoom meeting or other live chat URL that the organization has set up. When you click Meet Online, it'll ask you if you want to enter that hangout or meeting. And there will be representatives from the student org there to greet you, welcome you, and learn a little more about your interest and why you might want to join. Again, this page only features the organizations who are participating in the fair, but just like on the organization tab of the directory, you can filter down to dance. And now you'll only see the organizations that are dance focused participating in the fair. So again, this is an exciting opportunity to be able to welcome the admitted students to learn a little more about getting involved at Northwestern. If you're unable to attend this event, that's perfectly fine. We'll be running org fairs at the start of each quarter. So when you're a current student this fall, we welcome you to participate. Look for announcements about it all throughout Wildcat Welcome. And you can always visit Wildcat Connection now that you have a NetID and password to connect with folks in all of these student organizations. Thanks so much for watching, and go Cats!